Welcome to Morally Corrupt, a show here on the Ringer reality feed. I am Chelsea Stark-Jones, and today I am joined with Callie Curry. We have Rachel in Cannes, the Lions Festival. She's representing with Spotify, holding it down for Morally Corrupt and Higher Learning. So it's Callie and I. It's exciting. Like, Callie, we are podcast besties. This is our
I know.
third podcast this week.
Very excited. We were also going to podcast again on Monday, and I was like, wow, they just can't get enough of me and Chelsea, but I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But very excited to talk to you nonstop.
The CC necklace isn't for Callie Curry. It's for Chelsea and Callie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was foreshadowing this.
Yeah, it knew. It just knew. But you guys, Callie and I are also recapping Love Island on Bachelor Party. So if you are obsessing about Bravo and Love Island, like most of the world, you could go ahead and jump over and listen to those recaps. They're a lot of fun. Last night's episode was a fun refresher. So like a palate cleanser. So I know you're going to get into that on Monday with your sister-in-law. So yeah, but we are here to discuss Bravo. And we are going to run down Real Housewives of Miami, Real Housewives of Atlanta, which I don't think we've discussed in a little bit, and The Valley. Two of these were kind of heavy. One was pretty lighthearted. So we'll go heavy, light, heavy. We'll kick it off with Miami. So Lisa and Larsa, they are going to Milan for Fashion Week. Larsa's going because her son Preston is walking in the show. Lisa's going because she's in the show. But they're still beefing. And these two fight so similarly that this is going to last for a long time. They don't listen to each other. They don't listen when they fight. They speak at you. I think the biggest difference between the two of them in arguments is that Larsa is just mean. Like, she will go below the belt and, like, say mean things. Whereas Lisa, I don't think she has intentions to be mean, but she just is, like, self-centered. And they're both self-centered. So it's just, it's a recipe for disaster. Like, these two people should never fight.
I don't think that Lisa wants to be mean. It's so funny because Larsa always talks about loyalty, but, like, it doesn't seem like Larsa has any limits. So, like, I feel like if that is one of your really good friends, like if you have a friendship breakup, I just don't think that you should be like, okay, now it's time for me to spill like every and anything I know about you. And I think that that's how Larsa kind of handles breakups. The only time we haven't seen that is with the Kardashians, but that's kind of in her own self-interest, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Lisa's like friendships as well as like what we've seen with Larsa, but I do think it's interesting that like doesn't seem like Larsa keeps friends for very long.
No, it's a rotating door.
Also on this episode, they land in Milan. They are sharing a car. It's super awkward. The entire episode, like every single time we saw Preston, he wanted 0 parts of drama, like absolutely none. And he kept telling his mom that. And I'm just like, when they were in the car arguing, and this is speaking to how Lisa argues, like, I appreciated Lisa being like, wait, calm down. Like, Preston, are you okay? Like, Lisa was more worried about Preston than Larsa was. And I get it. Preston's like a grown up. But that's still your son, and I would have been more along the lines of Lisa. Like, this is not the time or place for us to have like a real argument about what our issues are.
Yeah, he's older, but also this is his moment. She's in Milan because of him, to support him. And like he said it before when they were on the way to the airport in Miami, when she tries to bring it up to him, he goes, to be honest, I don't want to talk about this. This has nothing to do with me.
He said, this is a work trip.
Yeah, and he's taking it very seriously. Good for you, Preston. So for his mom to be the one to like bring this fight up in such tight quarters, like
very tight quarters.
It's so unnecessary, but so Larsa. I heard you talk about last week with Rachel. I'm of the mindset that it sounds like Jody went out with his friends. Marcus also happened to be there. Didn't seem like it was something he coordinated or specifically invited Marcus to. To me, if I were Larsa, I would be like, look, I understand that things like that could happen. We run in Miami, we run in similar circles. Next time that happens, can you please just give me a heads up or just make sure like you maybe distance yourself from him and like don't tell him anything about me. That's how I would see it, but I think I'm a pretty logical person.
I think that is completely logical. I also think that if Larsa would have handled it a little bit differently, and even in the car when she would not stop arguing and Lisa was so uncomfortable because Preston was there, Jody was trying to talk and Larsa would not let him, like, she just would talk over Jody.
Mhm.
And she kept being like, "Is that your bestie? If you want to suck up to Marcus Jordan, that's on you." Da, 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 and like kept talking over Jody. I wanted Jody to have the opportunity to say, but she never got the opportunity to speak. So who knows if he was going to say this or not. But I
Yeah.
thought Jody was going to be like, "Larsa, no one is saying he is my bestie. I'm trying to tell you that, like, I'm not going to stop hanging out with my friends. If my friends are friends with him and he's going to come around sometimes, like, I'm not going to not go hang out with my friends because they also invited him. Like, it's not
Mhm.
me inviting him. I'm not saying me and him are besties. I'm saying that we have mutual friends and might hang out together every now and then. Not on purpose, not because of you. That's just like the circumstances of our friend groups." I wish Jody could have communicated that and Lisa be like, "And I am never going to hang out with him."
Yes. Yes. And yeah, Jody can't dictate who his friends are friends with. It's unfortunate. It is what it is.
Which also, our guru of the night, Fabulous, even even tried to tell Larsa, like, "Wait, you can't be mad at her for what her boyfriend's doing. It's not her."
Yeah. Yes.
And I loved how Lisa was like, "If Fabulous is saying it, if Fabulous is saying it, then that's what's up. Then that's what's up." And then Larsa was like, "Fabulous obviously was siding more with me. And, loyalty is really big in the rap game." And I was just like,
It was
this only would happen on Real Housewives of Miami.
and Love Island. Larsa's giving major Huda vibes. But yeah, no, it was really funny to me how it was like Lisa's like, "Yeah, he's on my side," and then Larsa's like, I was wondering, I was like, "Lisa, do you know a fabulous song? Can you rap one song?"
Probably not.
No. um, but I love that she was really enthused that he seemingly took her side. But that was at the after party of this fashion show that they were at, and Preston killed it. Which one of her sons plays for the Lakers?
None. She has a
She
son
had
that
one that was on the G League.
no, yeah, Scotty Pippen Jr. played on the G League for the Lakers, got traded. He's now on the Memphis Grizzlies and actually plays.
Oh, okay.
So he's like a
Yeah.
full NBA player. He's no longer in the G League. He is an NBA player for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay. And he's how old?
I'm guessing probably
24.
24, 25.
Okay. It's so crazy. I was watching it with my mom last night and she like how they show the reruns of the older seasons
Mhm.
prior to she was like, "Oh my god. Larsa just looks so different. What would her face look like if she just didn't do everything?"
I
And I
do
was like, "Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah, like she would be like she's, just a little bit of maintenance. She still would have been gorgeous. She was beautiful before."
I think she was prettier before.
Yes, yeah.
If she would have done way less and just did some maintenance, she probably would look great
Yeah, I
and
agree.
like more natural.
And unique to yes.
Yeah.
But so the fashion show was great. Lisa did well. That is Milan. At the end of the episode, we get like a montage. It seemed like the girls were hitting it off and having a good time. And then something happened with Jody, and we get a photo of Jody up against a step and repeat with his eyes, like honestly looking a little cross-eyed. And pupils huge.
I didn't think his pupils were that big.
No.
No. I did not think his pupils were that big. The
He looked
photo
crazy in the photo.
I mean, that's kind of how he looks. His face is so tight. I saw the photo like recirculate last night on social, so I got to like see the picture up close.
Mhm.
Uh,
You're not
I
buying.
no. I
Larsa's
mean,
selling something you're not buying.
listen, I am
He
not
does
going to
like
sit
AC.
here and say that he was not in some great air conditioning. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that that photo really proved like nothing to me. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, what it
Like, if
will
anything, if
do.
I was Larsa, I would say more so like, you saw Marcus got caught with AC and like him and Jody are BFFs. Like, I would have said that. That photo, I was just kind of like, okay. If you look at the photo and everyone else in the photo, like everyone kind of looks a little nuts.
Well, what it will do is it will continue to drag on this beef
Yeah.
between Lisa and Larsa, which isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. I will say that I saw Marisol with the eye patch on
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
end of.
and she did lift the eye patch to look at this photo a little
Yeah. Which
closer.
one? I was like, is this a theme dinner or is something wrong with her eye? Which also, I was like, I wish I had an eye patch right now. For those of you guys watching, my eye's swollen and I literally saw her eye patch and I was like, damn, do I have one of those laying around the house? I did not. Not even my kids' Pirates
Ugh.
case, because I was going to pop on here with an eye patch on and see if you said
Oh my god, I
anything.
would have died. I would have. I would have been polite about it. I'm like, "Oh, a choice. I like it." But yes. Yeah, I know. I was curious about Marisol's eye patch too. But I guess we'll find out next week. Also in the episode, we get a little bit more insight into Alexia and Todd and their divorce. I didn't watch What Happens Live, but saw that she said that they're no longer at this current moment, they're no longer together, but they were just intimate with each other like earlier this week. So it sounds like they're in a very much off and on,
Mm-hmm.
very quickly type of relationship, which seems like a lot for an older couple. Like we should be a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
But with Todd, the basis is he just doesn't like how he's comes off and is perceived on camera. He doesn't like the show life and he doesn't like to me the power and the notoriety that the show gives Alexia and how it kind of overshadows him.
Mm-hmm.
So as Marisol said it, he's a narc. He is, in my mind, a tiny, insecure man. How do you take it?
Same as how you take it. I also just find it interesting that like every single person around Alexia is like, what are you doing? Leave him
Yeah.
alone. Not a good person. I would have also Alexia even, which this is not going to go over well. I can imagine this episode where she's like, I pay for his rental and like basically his
Yes.
like fraudulent lifestyle. Can't imagine that goes over this week with them. Well, I don't really get it. I
Get
don't get
them.
I don't get why she's like wanting to still be in it. And as Alexia reminds me a lot of Teresa Giudice, or I don't know if that's her last name anymore, but whatever. Teresa from Housewives of New Jersey. You can say what you want about both of them. In general, they both prioritize their kids like above all else for the most part.
Mhm.
And so I am shocked that after Todd did that to Frankie, that she would allow him back in her life.
Yeah, that she's still letting a door open to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is just honestly, Alexia just wants to be loved. And,
So
you
does
know,
Teresa.
and so does Teresa. She just wants to be loved and be in a relationship. And I think, yes, they're both seemingly really good mothers, but I do feel like they find like purpose in being in a relationship and being married.
Mm-hmm.
And I, I too, like, I was surprised hearing Marisol talking about Todd and Alexia when she was having the sushi dinner with her husband of like, when she's with him, that's not my friend. I don't recognize her. She's a different person. And like, obviously, when they were together last season, like, Marisol's not going to shit on her best friend's relationship. But it really did surprise me to hear like she maybe wasn't as supportive of this relationship as we previously thought she was. And that there is so much more going on that we aren't privy to. But yeah, like packing up in front of Frankie, like poor Frankie was probably so confused and like
And leaving him.
and leaving him and scared. And yeah, it surprises me and surprised me that she would continue to like leave the door open for him after he did that to Frankie. And the fact that she said she told him that she would leave the show was also surprising to me. And to
Mm-hmm.
the women at the table, they were like, this is the Alexia I know is strong, Kiki, like is strong, independent, is taking no shit. Like this is completely different. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not hopeful that they're gonna not be together, but like I also actually think they broke up because he saw this a screener of this episode and saw her say that and was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see where we're at in a few months, but I just can't. And she says, I didn't watch What Happens Live either. I just saw clips, but she says that we're going to see like ups and downs. I just think that if he didn't like the show to begin with before the season started, these episodes are going to completely end this relationship.
Yeah. And it should be over. She should like
I hope it's the push that she needs.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Now for a little palate cleanser. Before we get into another toxic man. The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 15, episode titled Chapter 3, Rebirth. I like seeing the women have fun. This is a fun trip. They're having a good time. They rallied around Shamea last episode, and then we pick up right where we left off, except cameras are down. We get cell phone footage of them twerking all over each other, taking more and more shots. Are you a shots girl, Callie? Do you do shots?
I am a shots girl.
Really? So when they say tequila shots, you're like, yes.
Yeah. I prefer shots to drinks. I actually like get slightly annoyed when people don't take shots.
So you are Shamea in the situation, and I hate to say Shamea. I am more of the Brit Edie in this scenario.
I just think shots are more like community building than drinks. And so, I just think like hangovers are so much worse with drinks. Like it's just more sugar, more calories. I'm like, just take a shot and then like we can chill for a little bit and take another one in a little bit. Where'd you go to college?
I went to a small school. I went to University of Laverne. So it was private. I was in Greek life. So shots were a thing. But I don't know. Once I turned like 25, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Feel like I went to like a huge party school and I just feel like that started it. And especially with children, I would take shots any day over drinks.
Really? Okay, well maybe that'll change once I have my child.
I have to minimize my hangover as much as possible.
I love a nice cocktail. I love a glass of wine.
I love a glass of wine. I love a cocktail if I'm like at dinner. But if I'm like going out or like turning up with my friends,
it's time to rage. We're taking shots.
Yes. Now, also maybe don't take my advice because like I will hop on this podcast and tell you how I threw up last night. So like, and I'm 35 and I'm still doing that. Like threw up on the last time I went out with my friends. So, but had a great time.
Do as she says. Not as she does?
Not as she does. Yeah. Yes. But I totally understand Shamea's point of view on the shots. But I also like if I have some friends that know like I can't take shots, like I turn into a different person, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to push them to take shots because that's probably just going to end bad for everyone.
Yeah, you know no one wants to. Yeah, you don't want to be taking care of anybody. You don't want anyone yelling at people because they're an angry shot taking drunk. Yes.
Or like too messy. Like, do I throw up? Yeah, but I wait till I get home and take care of myself.
And
like,
no one has to see it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that in front of. I'm
no
not
one's holding your hair back.
Out. No, that's not happening. So I just feel like you have to like know who you are. And I think that Shamea, like, I just don't think you should pressure anyone to doing something that they don't want to do. You can be like a little like, that's not as fun with Brit in your head, but like, it's not gonna be fun when she's acting crazy and throwing up and getting naked. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If a 30-plus-year-old is telling you what's right for her, she probably knows.
She knows. She knows. And for me, I will take one with you guys for the community aspect. But
I appreciate that.
I might
one
sit
and
back.
done. Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate just like, joining in. We're all doing it together. And then the rest of the night, just be like, yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I know my limits as well. But they
it seems
had a good
like
time.
Brit has 1 and that leads to 10.
Yes, she's a lot. And I don't even want to get into the Brit and Tinkerbell argument. I'm blanking on her name. It's Kelly.
But I love
Phaedra calls her Tinkerbell.
Can I just say,
yeah.
Out of the 3 episodes that we're reviewing today, that 8-ish minutes we got of Phaedra, Porsha, and Cynthia sitting on the couch in their hotel room, I was just like, this is what I watched this show for.
This is
For all
Housewives.
of
This
these
is
shows.
vintage Housewives. I was
Yes.
like, take me back to the good old days. Take me to God's country. This was everything.
I think that in general, and I'm interested to see if you agree with me or disagree with me. I think Housewives is on the struggle bus right now when it comes to reality television. I love Bravo and I will watch Housewives and I will watch pretty much anything. But what I
Farmer wants a wife.
literally anything? But do I prefer on Bravo the summer houses, the Southern charms, the Southern hospitalities, the below decks? Right now, I do. Like I prefer those shows to Housewives at the moment. I would love for Housewives to come back and in a good way. All the franchises. By the way, let's take out Salt Lake from that. Salt Lake is separate from the rest of the Housewives. But this moment, I was just like, yes, like this is what we are trying to like bottle up and make into a show. So good for Housewives of Atlanta for like producing this moment. Favorite moment of all 3 shows this week. And when they were laughing about Cynthia's clit, I was just like, yes. She said,
Phaedra said
like
it's
your
in the
clit.
clan.
Cynthia was like, what's wrong with my clit? And she was like, you have a hooded clit. Phaedra goes, damn, your clit with the KKK? She goes, no, child, her clit getting racially profiled. Her clit getting pulled over on the road.
Oh my God.
It was so good.
It was so good. It's the it is. It really is what Housewives is about. It's about a group of women that could come together, laugh with each other, laugh at each other, and keep it pushing.
Are you preferring other Housewives? Are you preferring other show to Housewives right now? Or is that just me though?
No, you're 100% right. Below Deck is probably the only one that I don't watch out of those that you just listed. But like, yeah, I'm gonna miss Summer House. I miss Southern. I can't wait for Southern Charm to come back. There's something a little bit more like we're getting more friendships, I guess, in some of those. Whereas Housewives, it feels like we're tearing each other down a little bit more, and it's just more about the mess and not about the relationships. So I liked that, and it's no surprise this moment happened with these 3 women, like the ones that are OGs that are like entrenched in the franchise, that understand how television works and like have a relationship with each other. Cause that's also what I think is, and I think Miami kind of encapsulates some of this too. It's like a lot of these women in Miami know each other for a long time also. So like, especially with like Marisol and Alexia, we get like genuine friendship moments with the 2 of them. We lack that in other franchises because of the turnover, because people are being too produced and they care too much about what other people think. But this moment between the 3 of them, it was so fun. So fun. But the tea that Phaedra had really it doesn't hit with me. And I think primarily because we know Britt's not going to be at the reunion. So like, I'm not going to have any conflict resolution here.
Yeah, I mean, which is kind of like now, like watching the show, which sucks that it was announced before the show's over. But like even watching these moments, I was like, Rachel and I thought tonight was or last night was or this week was the finale.
Yeah.
And it's not the finale. We have more episodes. I don't know how many more, but we have more.
Imagine like 2 or 3, because when they come back from a trip, it typically wraps soon.
Yeah, but I was just like, she's not even like, we're like, who cares? She's no longer on the show. I did see some stuff online that said that the hairdresser for Kelly is siding with Brit, it seems.
I did see that too. But again, I didn't even click to read the messages because I was like,
she's gone.
You're not going to discuss it on the reunion, so I can't get too invested. Yeah. And you're also new cast members, so I'm just like, also, I don't care about your little beef. So.
Yeah, one hit wonder.
Yeah. Goodbye, Brit. But it ends with the women celebrating Jab Jab, which we learn in Granada is a festival that they have to reclaim the slurs and these what the oppressors, the slaves, called Black people during the time of slavery. And this festival, they paint themselves in black oil, they dance, they party, all of the things. And the women really, really, really participated in this. It's a full all-day festival, and they were in it. Cynthia wore hair condoms for her braids. Phaedra wore a shower cap. And they were grinding. You gotta watch. What did the bartender say? You gotta make sure you move the hips right or something. Like,
I don't know. Didn't the bartender also say like you got to make sure that like you're hydrated and like it looked like a lot of fun, but like that's a long
I would
day.
never.
That's
I could
a
never.
long day.
I
ain't
don't.
never seen like it was just. I felt like I was watching like a bender.
Oh yeah, no. It was something I don't think have the capacity to do. Also, having all that black oil on me would stress me out.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't really want
loved
oil on
watch.
me in general.
Yeah, I don't want to have to cleanse myself that deeply, and like it's just
How do you even
not
get
for
it
me.
off?
No, well, I mean, apparently Brit had a way because she spread Phaedra's cheeks open, which like I don't like. Again, like I don't want that for myself.
No, me either.
But I was happy to watch it and see the women partake in it. And yeah, it did feel like a bender. The next day, my mom was like, "How are they awake?" And when they said good morning to each other, she's like, "It's morning. It's morning, and they're just like up and looking fresh." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know."
That was 2 days in a row.
Yeah, and then they like it was morning and then they were leaving. Like I would hate to be on an airplane after
I've done
that.
it.
But did
I've
you
gone
enjoy it?
No, I've gone straight to the club I've gone straight to the club to the airport before
Yeah.
multiple times when I lived in Miami. And I remember one specific time I was not in a good, probably one of my throw up days. And I got on the airplane and I was like sweating. And the flight attendant was like, "I think you need some water." I was like, it's not good when she's like, "Hey, we're not offering it right now, but you need it. Here you go."
Did she give you the full bottle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Bless you, child."
Not in a good place. But they weren't like me. They looked like they were like
Fresh.
showered and ready to go. Yeah.
Like they just went to bed at 10 p.m. the night before.
But the day before that, the night before that, they were also up until like all hours. And then they woke up and were acting normal.
And we're drinking by the pool, taking more shots.
Yeah, I guess when you're on these kinds of trips, you just kind of know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it is a job at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, they can't like sleep in all day unless they're like really down bad.
Yeah.
They also seem like pros. These women are in the strip clubs in Atlanta for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like just having a nice night.
And I love that for them. And I love watching it for myself.
Fun.
They are a fun group of girls. I've been enjoying this season of Atlanta. Like the shade has been light. I really also appreciated Phaedra's moment of putting her hat on Shamea to like kind of make her feel good, do the old fashioned moment.
Wait, wasn't that
sorry,
Porsha?
Porsha.
Yeah,
yes.
I was like, did I miss that? Yeah.
No, Porsha putting the hat on Shamea.
I'm so confused about Porsha and Shamea because
like where they stand today.
It seems like today they're not very close.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering. I have no idea. I would assume. I guess we'll see what happens if anything else happens. But I would also assume watching this season back, I think Porsha is going to have her feelings hurt a lot. Because it seems, from what we've seen thus far, it seems like Shamea has never really been honest with Porsha about how she feels. And I think it's really rough for that honesty to finally come out once you're on camera. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that could have happened a long time ago or could have happened off camera. Mm-hmm. And so I could understand why Porsha was like, yeah, you coming on this show, you think that throwing me under the bus is a good thing or like going to help. I don't know. The whole thing
I think their fallout stems from, like you said, having to watch the show back and not liking what was said in ITMs or in other scenes with other cast members. Like,
But I've
that's where I
only
think
seen bad things on Shamea's end. I don't think Portia's really said anything about Shamea.
she hasn't, but I also don't think what Shamea has said is, like, all that bad either.
I don't think that it's bad. I'm trying to think if I can remember everything, but like I don't think it's bad. I think that if that were my best friend, I would be hurt by what Shamea is doing.
Yeah,
Like,
because in some ways
don't
it
talk about me
reframes
as a
the idea
friend.
of what your friendship is.
Yeah, like you're acting like I've done nothing for you and everything is always all about me. That might be the case, but why would you go tell other people and have never told me and for this only to come out on camera? Like you
Mhm.
waited for it to come out you waited for you to get on this show to say all these things about me?
Yeah. Yeah,
And even
which
tonight, I'm like, at this point, like, Portia doesn't even know that this is like part of the storyline, is going out of her way to try to make you feel good. The
yeah.
next morning, she was so happy that your baby was okay, and then does this hat moment for you. I'm like, I'm not even seeing the friendship that Shamea is portraying.
Yeah. It yeah. I feel like it's more in the group setting. I feel like them one-on-one, Shamea's fine with. I feel like it's look, when you're friends with someone like Portia, she is a big personality, and I think Shamea often takes a back seat to that, and
Totally.
I think that is where her
But why is that
conflict or,
Portia's
like
fault?
it's not, and I don't think that she sees it that way. I honestly feel like it's more of the women around them that are trying to make it an issue than it is Shamea trying to make it an
But
issue.
I think that
Like,
it started
with
to become an issue because Shamea started saying things. Like, that's why they were
yeah.
like, Shamea, why don't you tell her? Like, it is an issue. The only reason why this got brought up is because you were complaining about things and never said anything
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Portia.
Yeah. True.
I think
Look.
that not surprising at all. Like, even, Cynthia said it on Watch What Happens Live, where she was just like, act like Portia hasn't been this way her entire life. Like, we've known Shamea has known who Portia is and who her best friend was for however many years, 20 plus years. So it's
Mhm.
weird for you to wait till you're on camera to start talking about who she is.
Yeah. It is. And I really hope that they're able to make
Yeah, me
amends
too.
because
Me
it does
too.
seem like a genuine friendship and relationship. And I would hate for it to be a friendship breakup over your first season as a housewife. Typically that takes a couple. So I hope I mean, they already filmed the reunion, so I'm hoping that whatever came through at the reunion brought them back together.
I love them as a friendship. And I
Mhm.
think they're so funny and
Yeah.
together. And I mean, they've been friends for so long. So I just hope that this show didn't ruin that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this episode or the week before, but, like, when they were rapping in the van,
Mm.
together,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, like, that's something only you do with a friend that you've had since high
Mm-hmm.
school, which I love. Alright, so we end Atlanta on a high note. We're gonna get back to the women, I guess, when they're in the Peach City? Chocolate City is DC. What do they call Atlanta?
I was going to say Magic City, but that ain't it.
The ATL. When they get back to the ATL, we will catch up with the women. But right now, we're going to make our way over to the Valley, which,
I just looked it up. The Hotlanta, City in the
Hotlanta,
Forest, Hollywood of the South.
Hollywood of the South. I like Hotlanta. Um, we'll catch them in Hotlanta. But we are going to make it to the Valley, another hot area in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Jax. Jax has left quote unquote rehab.
I'm so
And,
curious about this rehab.
he named it on Watch What Happens Live. And I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it was a good thing that I named it because I would not recommend anyone go to that center that he claimed to have been to.
I loved when he was, I mean, there's just so many things with Jax. I can't.
Yeah.
So, first of all, he can drink, but he's sober, is interesting to me.
Yeah.
He said on Watch What Happens Live, he's been sober for 201 days, I believe.
Yeah. And when Andy asked if that's been since he left rehab, he gave a long pause before he said yes. So
He said, yeah.
yeah.
So definitely not since rehab.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so does that include alcohol? Like when he was on the Watch What Happens Live, because I saw Watch What Happens Live before I watched the show, I thought that meant like completely sober. And then I watched the show and I was like, wait, so is he sober from just Coke?
I think it's just Coke.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not nothing.
It's not nothing. If that's the main cause of
Well,
but it's not the main cause of his
It's not.
anger. So
Yes,
yeah, it's
it's not the main cause of his anger. It's not the main cause of his issues, but it's still not nothing. He has addressed it multiple times off the show, which is also interesting because he doesn't say it on the show at all. Like on the show, all he says is that he drinks and his drinking leads to anger,
Mhm.
but he hasn't said Coke. Like he announced the whole Coke issue right before the season started, right? So I'm wondering if that's
Yeah.
just like a new thing that he's saying. But I mean, he got angry pretty immediately.
Yeah, he gets in the car with Jesse. Jesse's taking him home and like I mean, I guess I wouldn't know what to do in this type of situation either if I were his
Jesse?
friend. Yeah, if
Yeah.
I were Jesse, but like Jesse really looked like, oh my God, this guy. Like he hasn't changed a lick. He did not look like he was buying what he was selling. He just kind of nodded along and looked a
Mm-hmm.
little stressed. But yeah, he was somehow found out about the Brits bar, which I'm assuming one of his business partners told him about it. But if it was that big of a deal, why did his business partners allow
I
that to
don't think it was
happen?
his business partners. I feel like it was someone else because like his business partners would have had let this happen.
But that his business partner was at that little welcome home dinner, Jax, and his business partner was like, "It was really messed up that you guys did that." And I'm like, "Don't you own part of the bar?
Yeah,
Like, couldn't you have
I was
prevented
so
that from
confused.
happening?
Yeah. But I also just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Like, who cares?
It was for
Let
one
Brittany
night.
like, yeah."
It gave publicity to your bar. Who cares?
And I also like, I know it's a
Also,
part
it's
of the
not like
game,
they
but
took the sign down and put it like built a new sign
no,
and installed a new sign. They literally put like a sheet over his name for a
they
night.
did what you do, like the cheerleaders would do for homecoming for the game.
Yeah, not a
They
big
painted
deal.
a really bad, ugly poster and taped it over your bar sign. Like, who cares?
Yes.
But yeah, no, Jax immediately is like spiraling over that. They get back to his house. He sees all of his stuff in the trash bags, which he didn't seem to care too much about. And he starts emptying things out. Brittany is making sure that he, doesn't take certain things. She wants some computers, she wants this, she wants that. And Jack starts to get frustrated and it's like, well, tell her I'm not going to do it unless she lets me see Cruz. And Jason and Jesse both were like, that's not going to go over well. We can't do
I
that.
mean, Jason is the most like level-headed person of this entire group.
He is, and that's what surprises me that like he is actually genuinely friends with
Friends with
Jax.
all these people? No, all these people.
All of them. But like Janet was in an interview and was
I mean,
like, yeah,
he's
him and
married to
Jason are
Janet.
actually good. I know, I know. So there's something there. Maybe another season we'll get to it. But yeah. So also, Jax goes on a rant about how he's paid the mortgage off, but that Brittany shouldn't live here because this house is too big
For
for
a
a
woman.
woman to manage. This is not manageable for a woman. Like, I'm sorry, Jax. A woman, she managed this house before you were like while you were living here, while you were gone, whether you like it or not. Like, women manage every household that they run and live in, whether it's cleaning, putting things together, whatever it is. And just like for his misogyny to go unchecked in that moment was so irritating to me.
And shockingly, I think even Jesse was like, what? Like, even Jesse was like, I'm not sure if you want to say this. Like, the
Yeah.
fact that Jesse is shocked by Jax's misogyny is just not a place you'd want to be.
No. Like she should be in a 3-bedroom home that's perfect for her and blah blah blah.
I
Like
feel like Jesse was like,
what?
what? Why? Why three
Like
bedrooms?
why 3 bedrooms? Like disgusting. And then his new little bachelor pad, which is literally next door to Schwartz. Like
Schwartzy.
I was thinking they were just in the same building or in a different building, but next to each
No.
other. Like, no, they share a balcony wall, which is nuts.
On Watch What Happens Live, Schwartz was like, we don't even like see each other that much. Like it's the
Yeah.
same amount as what we saw each other before. Schwartz also said he does not think Jax has changed.
Well,
Watch What
Jax is
Happens Live.
sitting right next to
Yeah, he was like, I don't think he's changed, but I have hope. I haven't lost hope.
You're the only one.
I know.
You know, also on Watch What Happens Live, like Jax looks inflamed. Like he looks like he's
Always.
yeah, but so that's when he says he's X amount of days sober, it's like you're doing like something's like inflammation is hitting you somewhere, and but
Mm-hmm.
because of something, you're puffy. But yes, so Jax returns. He's a madman. He learns that Jesse's is having a party for Zach's boyfriend Benji at Jesse's house. He's hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
And he demands an invite, even though he hates Zach and doesn't like him, doesn't care about Benji. But because everyone else is going to be there, Jax has to be there. So
Mm-hmm.
he debows his way into this invite. We also see that things between Michelle and Jesse continue to deteriorate further.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle claims that Jesse won't allow their daughter to spend time with her mother, who has cancer and is dying. Jesse claims that that's not fully true, that he wants to have a conversation with their daughter prior to her having this time with her grandmother because she doesn't understand what death is at this moment. So I understand that, but I don't. What is your take? It's Jesse and Michelle. It's hard for me to read who's the bad guy, and
I
I go back
know.
and forth.
I'm so like I watched the show and there's moments where I'm like, oh, Jesse's an asshole. And then there's moments where I'm like, Michelle's a liar.
Hmm.
And I think that like both are true. Like
Yeah.
I think, which we're getting a little bit off what you're originally asking me, but like I think that Michelle being sad that everyone is not treating her the way that they treat Brittany. And I'm like, I think it's because they believe that Brittany is the sole purpose, or
Victim.
sole victim. There you go. Sole victim. Um, in this relationship. Whereas I think they think that you and Jesse were not a match. Did Jesse treat you like shit? Yeah. Did you also treat Jesse like shit in some ways? Yeah. Like I can't sit here and say I think there's zero chance Michelle cheated on Jesse. Now, do I think
Yeah.
that Michelle may have been pushed to do that or felt like super alone in her relationship because of how Jesse treated her for whatever, however, whatever? Yeah. But like I just think that they both did things wrong. If anything, I might think that Michelle is a little bit less in the wrong, but that they both have done things. In this instance, though, it's like another time where I'm like, I don't know if Michelle is telling the whole truth, and I don't know if Jesse's telling the whole truth. I agree that I think their daughter's 4.
Yeah.
I don't think a 4-year-old should just meet someone or like go see someone who's been in their life a lot and is now dying and is a completely different person. I think you have to have a
Hmm.
conversation with her first, but I also think that she should absolutely see her grandmother in this state for as long as she can and have her in her life as long as she can.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And I think that Jesse should also be a part of that conversation with Michelle about, life after or
Totally.
death, like whatever. So I feel like it's somewhere in the middle, and with them we're never going to understand like the full side of it. And I feel for Michelle in that I really do think the worst parts of Jesse, we miss them because they happened before the show started.
Mhm.
And when they started filming the show, like she was fully checked out of Jesse. She was done because she had already gone through a cycle of abuse and
Mhm.
frustration and
But we didn't see
over
that.
but we didn't get to see it. So now we're seeing Jesse play the victim card and Jesse be sad that he now is losing his relationship because of his actions, which allows viewers to have a little bit more sympathy towards him.
Yeah, but I would also say this season, not last season, because last season I think that we saw him be like a little bit of an asshole throughout the season. Other than the prostitute thing, which is a big thing,
Yeah.
even though it didn't last that long. Like he said, he
Mm,
made it up pretty quickly, so it didn't last that
yeah.
long. Didn't travel that far. But other than that, I wouldn't say that Jesse has been like awful to her. He's been like pretty level-headed. He's been pretty mild when it's come to her. So I think her like big reactions, like throwing the drink in his face, and which this could all be like manipulative. Oh my god, manipulative. Why can't I say that? Manipulative on his
It's
part.
the morning. Yeah.
But like we're seeing her overreact a lot more than we're seeing him. And he is playing the victim card very well. But it sucks that I do think that she probably went through a lot that we didn't see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds, I think they're in a better place from what I've seen online of like in
Yeah, it
current
does seem
present
like
time,
today they seem in a much better place. It seems like he
which
likes Aaron. So that's helpful.
Aaron's a weird one for me.
I listen, I'm just happy that Michelle is happy. And it's nice that Jesse likes him because it helps like co-parenting and all that
Yeah,
go way
yeah,
smoother.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so then we get a dinner with Jax and the guys celebrating him coming back. Jax claims his issues is with anger, not with drugs and alcohol. So I think that is why we see him still
I think
drinking.
it's a cocktail of it all, but yeah.
Yeah. Again, he's mad that the guys defaced his bar, called it Brits. And then also the tension between Danny and Jason. Um, which again, like I can't stand Janet. Like I really like her getting up at the party when she's having this conversation with Nia, who's like the calmest, most level-headed person you could probably like try to resolve conflict with, and getting up and storming away is so cowardly to me and like tells me your argument is weak. Like I can't.
So I think that Janet is right. I think that Danny drinks too much and then, or from what we've seen anyways, and when he drinks, he acts different. Like we've seen it. That's a fact. I think he's also hiding his drinking from Nia because like as we see when he took that shot and then there was another shot and he was like, look, I only took a sip. Sure. But you forgot to tell her about the shot you took before you had the sip of the second shot. So he's clearly hiding his drinking from Nia. It's obviously been a problem in their marriage and Nia wants him to calm down and he's not. So, like, I think Janet is right. I just think A, it's none of her business because it hasn't affected her that much. B, she keeps bringing things up that he's done to like other people when they've squashed it. So it's kind of just like, why do you keep resurfacing things that were like, if I was Nia, I would be annoyed with how Janet is
Mhm.
handling it all. But
Mhm.
at the root of it, I don't think that she's wrong. I just think that she's handling the whole situation wrong. And it's so wild to me because of how level-headed Jason is. I'm just like, how do you not see that she's like stirring it up?
Instigating and throwing
Yeah.
gasoline on this. Yeah. No, I agree. It's and compare like and she's still not backing down from the comparison of her ex-boyfriend that was an alcoholic
Yeah.
and abusive, and it's just like I I, I don't think those two things are the same. Like I'm sorry.
No.
And I really hate how loosely they're throwing around the term alcoholic with
Mhm.
Danny, especially when we're sitting at a table with Jax Taylor. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? Like it's so I feel like I'm getting frustrated with it because they're trying to paint them as this like bad toxic couple. And I think they, to your point, like I do think Danny's like hiding some of it and like Nia as a wife is trying to protect what she can of it. But that's them being still their real selves and they're
Mhm.
still trying to navigate through that. So I really just don't appreciate the I just Nia's my girl. I don't know. There's something so sweet about her
I do
that
like
I
Nia,
like.
but I
I
also
don't
think
like
that she
people going
wants
after her.
everything to look perfect and they don't
Yeah.
show their
I mean, she's
problems.
a
And you're on
pageant
a
girl.
reality show. So like I understand why some people like Janet get frustrated because they're like everyone else is showing things and issues and you guys act like everything's all good and we know that things aren't all good.
But I think that they are showing their problems. They are having these conversations. They are talking about it. She is like saying that we've had heart like after the whole
Jasmine.
Jasmine thing and the grabbing of the butt and stuff like that. Like we did go to therapy. It was really hard for us. We did have a
Mhm.
hard time with it. We worked through it. Like sorry that didn't happen on camera.
Mhm.
I don't that's not their fault. So I have a hard time with the we show everything, you show nothing. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Danny's not throwing chairs and fighting and not paying our mortgage. And also, I'm not accusing him of not loving me, and he's not accusing me of
Yeah.
having an affair. Like, our lives just aren't that meaty.
Yeah. I hear your
But
point. I still think that she likes to like make things look better than they are, which I
yeah,
think is like a human like
instinct.
thing. Yeah, instinct to do. It's just that when you're on a reality show and other people are showing more, I can understand the frustration.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know we're getting to the end of the episode, but I have to say my two favorite moments of this episode were
Mhm.
one, Zach going at Jax. And
Yeah.
like he was like, I am very proud of you for going for 30 days and like sticking through it and, you know, not being sober for 30 days. Like, that's great. But the therapy was not working. Like,
Yeah.
was this journaling you rage texting Brittany? Like, I was dying laughing. And then he was like,
I
it's
100%.
also don't go to my bar. And this is my show. And he was like, it wasn't for the last 30 days.
Yeah, I 100% like, I don't love Zach, but in that moment, I really appreciated it because he was the only one. Like, I get, like, he got out of rehab. You want to be sensitive to him, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it was all bullshit. It was all a
Yeah.
charade. And I appreciate Zach just being
Calling
like,
him on it.
calling him on it. While everyone
Yeah.
else is like tiptoeing, like, you know, I'm really proud. I really hope this
Mhm.
changes you, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, Zach sees him for what he is. And I really like that as well. What was your other favorite part?
My other favorite part was Jax getting served his divorce papers and saying, like, oh, yeah, this is my podcast.
It's about the podcast.
And then he brings it inside and is like, wait, what? And Schwartz is like, wait, this is a divorce. And then watching them both like navigate through the divorce papers and having like it was just like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, like just being like, he's like, oh, this is a love letter in terms of divorce papers. He's like, well, the custody's a little tricky, but maybe you should read through that. And then Jax being like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what legal full custody means. Maybe I should. I don't.
What killed me is like Jax was all when they were packing up the garage and all the stuff. He's like, I don't think Brittany cares. She doesn't care about me. She's she's over it. This and the other. And as soon as he gets the divorce papers, he's like, all right, so I just sign it. Like, it's like, wait, what?
He's like, do I sign it right now? And Schwartz is like, I mean, maybe not right now. But...
like, if you want to think about it, like,
or maybe consult someone on what this actually says.
Yeah, he's like, you got a pen? Like, what? This is crazy. Yeah, he's a whole mess. And then again, like, Brittany leaked this to the press because seems like he got the divorce papers served to him. And then not but 10, 15 minutes later, it was in the press. So
like Brittany knew this was coming.
Yeah.
She could have leaked it a week ago.
Tuesday. She said Tuesday, he's getting served. No one tell him. I want it to be a surprise. And good on her. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of her. That takes a lot. She really has had it with him, as she should. Finally.
He said on Watch What Happens Live that the divorce will be final on July 21st. So
all things go well. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe she'll have a divorce party at Jax's bar and call it Divorced. Brit's Divorce. But yeah, guys, that's all that we have for our Bravo recap today. Thanks for joining us. We will be off next Tuesday, so no news of the week episode, but we will be back recapping all things Bravo and maybe even throw some news in there if anything big happens between now and then. But we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.